Hey, hey, you know what it is? Your partner on some of that shit that got me blowing on some fat. Um, I got a video. I was scrolling through, my uh, I was investigating a lot of things. I don't like to come on here and don't investigate what bringing to y'all. And I had a flashback because I seen a prison, I seen a prison video, and I seen how, and people don't know how it is, and especially I could say for this West Coast, this West Coast, it's army. You in the army when you go to prison. You got to be a soldier, and you got to get in where you fit in at, and it's survival of the fittest, and and it's no room for the meat. You can't survive, and so your mentality immediately goes to another level. So when you see this video, you're gonna see how you're gonna see the increments of basically you're gonna see a murder and how it's done in prison. When you behind the walls, that's it's one thing to be, gangster on the street, and it's a whole nother thing in prison because now it's not never gonna be a solo situation. It's gonna be whoever you're attached with. You feel me? In California, whoever you're attached with, that's in pretty much everywhere. So we're gonna watch this video. I'm gonna stop talking, and it's a 2017 video, but it just shows the other side. If you don't go to the graveyard, this would be waiting on when you don't play by the rules. If you don't if the streets don't get them, if the streets don't get them, this prisoner get you. Playing, it ain't no soft thing, and
video progress on 5 seconds of 7 minutes, 50 seconds.
Witnessed, and I'm just saying, and you're gonna watch is just watch, any videos I show owned by the owners and created just for education and entertainment purposes only. That it's a cell. This is what I'm used to being in a spot like this with nobody out. We don't get day room. When you level 4 and when you a high level, you don't get day room like that all the time. You got to be in them cell. So these are the runners on the tiers. The people, they pass all the week. They do all the, work. They coming up though because they pass all the work. But look, these assigned hitters. And whenever you see now they coming out, look, they made the cellie come out. It's a watchman. They going in the cell. They in the cell. They on. It's on. The play already been made. They on. Now they in security. They in high security. It's not a open. That's the way I come from. It's not. You don't get to walk around. And like some of them Disneyland prisons where you just get to walk around when you're on a certain level, you're going to be, and they up in there. They got cameras in there though now because it's the camera that's taking the picture. They up in the cell with the victim. Because he a victim now. It's a play been called on him, and he come out the cell and they went in there. It's over with. And just watch the door. And just watch the whole play. Everybody got to play normal. And then people ain't trying to lock up because, see, these the tier runners. They pass everything you need, the phones, everything you need. They doing it. Oh, man, they doing the most on the tiers. If you on the tier and everybody else is locked up like this, look at this dude, he climbing up the tier. Look, they show it out. Because ain't nothing but a camera. But they the tier tenants, so they, they already, they basically they trustees. But they still in that cell. They still in the cell. You see that cell? They still, and this is prison life. And this is what, people don't see. This is the other side. When I be posting, when I was in jail, and I was, I had my phone, and I had my phone up in there like that. And I got pictures, I was in the cell. Look, this is what it was. and you got tears running out. Now they coming out the cell after all that time. Look, he breaking that way. He breaking that way. He breaking that way. They getting on. They getting on. They getting on camera. But you ain't seen nothing what they did in the cell. Look, he going. He know the play. The play went down. You know, he went in his cell for a minute, but he probably doing something. You know, look, everybody moving around. I'm talking about, man, look, I live this life. It's nothing to play with. You think you going to prison, you know, so you guys out there playing with them pistols, right? When you go to prison, look, be ready. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not no play thing, you know. And, now all these people on the same crew, they're probably in a whole tank. This is probably a whole, it's either Nathaniel, or Sereno, or Texas, Tex-Mex, you know, and all that's, you know, all, like Arizona and California is the same because California ship prison. California's so cold, they ship prisoners to Arizona. So this is California shit, though. This is how it really go. You know, you ain't running up here. You ain't got no pistol now, you know, and you ain't got that thing, no switch. So be aware, you know what I'm saying? Be aware, you know. It's no good results from doing whatever you're doing. You run around shooting in pistols, you shooting innocent people, you know what I'm saying? This was going to be your fate. And that man up in there, he gone. That man up in that cell right there, look, he not there no more. He gone. His spirit, he gone. And they can come out the cell and everything. Look, he gone. You know, look at how people still acting around. Look, they run around, ain't nobody care. And they, you know, when you get such a high security, they don't check on you, have you in that cell and have you people be monitoring the camera. But they'll be on and off the camera. You know, they slipped on up in there. But sometimes it be a play with the guards, the way they let you, man, it's all kind of twist, you know. That's why I say it ain't fair. When you go to prison, you think you something fair, it's not fair. And it's somebody dead in that cell. You know, whoever was in that cell right there is gone. He got knocked down. They still haven't come up. And people walking around because ain't nobody trying to lock up. You know, it had to be in them cells all day. This is, like I say, this is a Mexican Mafia tank. This is a Mexican Mafia tank. It's a Sereno, it's a Nathaniel, you know. But it's all almost the same because, like I say, they send prisoners from California to Arizona. So it's the same, you know, the structure is the same. But this is a whole tank of them. So I guess they just feel like he was a bad seed, and this called cleaning house. Look, they still walking around, he cleaning house. Ain't nobody trying to lock up. And then did all that man up in there dead. This is, man, it's a cold reality. And you know, people that, you know, when they take them guns away from them switches away from, look, you should see them when they in prison. I'm just going to tell you. I be laughing. These youngsters, look, you should see them in prison. Stop playing. You know, this y'all reality. You know, I'm going to get out of here. But this was just a public service message right here because I want, you know, those that might see, that might be involved in, you know, doing what they doing out there. This is the other side of not getting killed. You know, and for life. And you got to be shrewd. Now, these are basically the Mexicans, but it's still the Africans. You got the Crips, the Bloods. They don't say nothing about the Bay Area, the 415, you know, the Kumi African Nation, the BGF, you know what I'm saying? Them, all soldiers. And that was an order, you know, for that dude to get hit. They still walking around like normal because ain't nobody finna go lock up. And, you know, they tier runners. They're already trustees. You know, they serve the food. They clean the tier up. You know, so you get to run around and then pass all the contraband. You know, they the main man. You need them when you up in there like that, up in them cell, and you be in them cell 23 hours out of 24. You in the cell. You get that hour out. You coming for your hour? No, you better close my door at 5:30 in the morning. It's just word to the wise. Y'all better watch out for what you doing because it'll come back and bite you. love me, like me, share me, fuck with your body, and I holler.